Hey everybody, welcome back to Sarah J. Awesome. I did not put this video out last week because I was totally exhausted, and unfortunately I'm totally exhausted again today. Problems of a working mom with 6 kids and 3 dogs now. That is the surprise that I could not tell y'all about last week or a week before last because we were still trying to hide it from a few of our kids that were away at camp. But we now have a new Doberman puppy. Her name is Lady Stella. She is 14 weeks now. And so we have a whole new member of our household. But that is one more reason that the Model Y is better than the Model 3. And I really hate to make this video. This really pains me to say this, but for my family personally, the Model Y is definitely the better car by far. And it may not be like that for every person, but there's a few things that will definitely determine that for you. I am only comparing things for my family, my situation, and the standard range Model Y versus the standard range Model 3. So the wheels on my standard range Model 3 came stock with the 18-inch wheels, and the stock wheels for the Model Y standard range were 19-inch. So there is 1-inch difference there. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's get on with this list here. This is a true hatchback. When people look at the Model 3 from afar and they haven't been inside of one, it kind of looks like a hatchback. But it's really not a true hatchback because you cannot access the trunk from the back seat unless you fold the seats down. You can't reach over the back seats into it like you can with the Model Y. That is a huge thing. The only downside to that, I would say, is that the AC from the car does go into the trunk area, so it has a larger area to cool or heat using probably a little bit more energy. So there is that to consider, but because the air conditioning and heating does go back there, you can have live animals back there, which you absolutely cannot do in the Model 3. It is a fully closed trunk. No airflow to the trunk at all. So that is number one. You can put dogs or pets in the back of the Model Y. Now, can I have my dogs in the back seat of my Model 3? Yeah, sure. But the problem is I can either have them in the back seat and have the trunk closed, or I can lay the seats down in the Model 3 and have my dogs be able to go from the back seats basically to the trunk, but the seats are laying down. But the problem with that is I can only have 2 passengers in my car when I do that, unless you just had like the 2 seats folded down in the Model 3 and you just had 1 space for the dog to lay down. But then you couldn't have 2 dogs there. You could probably only do 1. So basically, if you have pets in the Model 3, the maximum amount of people you could have is 3 people in there. But if you have pets in the Model Y, you can still have comfortably 5 people in here and pets in the trunk as well, which you could probably easily fit 3 dogs back there in the trunk along with 5 people. So that's a big thing because I have 8 people in my family, 2 adults, 6 kids, and 3 dogs. The second thing is I have put an adult bike in the back of my Model 3 before, but it was difficult. It was 1 adult bike. I don't think I was able to fit 2 back there, and I did have to take the front wheel off the bike in order to fit. And the reason is because the Model 3 is not a true hatchback, so it has that metal bar that goes across there, so you don't have enough room to put either the handles to scoop under that part of the trunk, or if you turn the handle sideways, it's not enough room for the wheel to go under that metal bar in the trunk of the Model 3. But with the Model Y, you don't have that annoying bar there, so you could easily put an adult bike in here by folding the back seats down, and you don't have to take the front wheel off. I have not tried that because I actually just got a bunch of steroid injections in my neck and back, so I won't be able to show that in this video, but I'm pretty sure that you could easily do that. Definitely easier than the Model 3. Okay, so this is looking in the trunk of the Model Y. You can easily stack a ton of stuff back here. Honestly, you could put several bicycles back here if you stacked them floor to ceiling in this. In the Model 3, it's much smaller here because you have all this. It's not like that in the Model Y. There's nothing right there. But here we have all this glass. So this is a much smaller opening. So if you're putting handlebars from here to here with an adult bike, it doesn't fit. Or if you're putting wheel there, it doesn't fit because of this metal piece here. That is super annoying. Also, this is totally closed off. I mean, if you put your pets back here, they're gonna die. You could definitely put a bigger Christmas tree in the Model Y than you could with the Model 3. And again, that is because of that bar back there. And I also believe there is more room going from the screen to the back of the trunk. I have not measured that because the kids lost my measuring tape. But I am pretty sure that I could put a little bit bigger tree in here, at least by a couple inches. I did get a really big Christmas tree in my Model 3, and it was not an issue. But why not get a bigger one in the Model Y? Another reason that the Model Y is better is because you have a higher roof for taller people. I am 5'2", so I love the Model 3, but I do still have to turn my head like this to get into my car. And that is one of the things that causes pain in my neck, actually, is turning my head like that. My husband also has severe neck problems. It's just really annoying. And my kids, when they're getting out, they hit their heads every single freaking time they get in the car. And I'm like, how can you not remember to duck when you get in my car? Not only is the roof higher, but the seats are higher off of the floorboard than they are in the Model 3. Your knee is definitely at a different angle in the Model 3. So is your posture, and so is how much flexion you have in your neck. Okay, so let me just show you what I'm talking about with how you're sitting in the Y versus how you're sitting in the Model 3. This is the Model Y, and this is my setting for this. And your seat is higher off of the floorboard. So I can easily have my left knee at a 90-degree angle the whole time I'm driving comfortably. Or I can have it on the dead pedal like this. And you're sitting more at a 90-degree angle here too. You're not slouched back like this like you are in the 3. And then you also have more room from your head going to the roof as well. So I feel like this is definitely a more comfortable car for people with knee problems, hip problems, SI joint problems, lower back problems, and neck problems too, because you're sitting more straight with better posture. With this one, it's really easy to just get out comfortably and not hit your head and not have to duck down as much. I don't have to duck down at all, but my husband and my kids still probably duck down just a little bit. And he said that his head is also not as close to the ceiling in here as it is in the 3. Also, the kids have more legroom in the Model Y, because in the Model 3 he has to sit back like this, so the front seat is leaned back a little bit more. So let me show you what it looks like in the Model 3. So in the Model 3, you saw I had to kind of duck my head down a little bit, which can hurt your neck, and my husband and I both actually have neck problems. So that is a little bit annoying, having to turn your head like this to get in. And this is my profile setting in here, and you can already see that I can't drive with my knee bent because it's hitting my steering wheel where I like my steering wheel to comfortably be. So I have to drive like this with my left foot on the dead pedal. So my knees are always stretched out at this angle, which is probably like 120 degrees, instead of a comfortable 90 with your knees bent. So this is also, when I do have my knee bent like I do in the Model Y, not only is my knee hitting the steering wheel, but it's much higher. It's not even touching the seat right here because these seats are so low to the floor in the Model 3. And also you'll see that my seat is leaned back further. So I have my lumbar support out all the way, so my lower back is straight the way it's supposed to be with a little bit of lordotic curve, but I have to have the upper part of the seat leaned back in order for me to sit comfortably like this. But you get the point. It's definitely a different sitting stance in the Model Y versus the Model 3. Also, because you have to have your seat leaned back like this to have the proper lumbar support, that actually pushes your head forward a little bit when you're driving. So your neck is always bent forward a little bit, which we all know is not good for your neck, especially when we're always looking at our devices like this. So your neck is definitely going to be straighter in the Model Y. Another reason that the Model Y is better is that it's actually higher off the ground than the Model 3, and we have a lot of flooding here in Texas. That's definitely better to have a car that is as high off the ground as possible when it comes to floodwaters. And that's also good for bad driveways. And actually, I have to back into our driveway because of the steepness, because when I pull out forward out of our driveway, it doesn't scrape. But if I back out of our driveway, it will scrape the front of my car. It does not scrape on the Model Y because it sits higher. Another reason it's good is bad roads. We have a lot of construction here, and we also have a ton of road debris here in Houston, Texas. Tons and tons and tons. So having a higher car, you're a lot less likely to get damage from road debris in the Model Y. Another thing that I've noticed is that since the windshield is significantly higher off the ground in the Model Y than the Model 3, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that we're less likely to get a broken windshield in the Model Y. I did finally put an order in to get the windshield fixed on my Model 3, so I'm super excited about that. But I have gotten a million chips in my window. I say a million, but it's probably more like 30 chips in my windshield on my Tesla Model 3. This is a view of the cars from behind, and you can see how much taller the Model Y is than the Model 3. Here we are from the front. So the Model Y is definitely higher, and the windshield is definitely higher as well. So you don't get rock chips hitting the windshield of the Model Y as easily as you do them scooping up and flying onto the windshield of the Model 3. The Model Y has a true panoramic moonroof. The Model 3 has that annoying bar that goes right in the middle and cuts the sunroof, the moonroof in half. However, the bad thing about that in the Model Y is we don't have those lights here in the middle for the backseat passengers like we do on the Model 3. This is the true panoramic moonroof, which I absolutely love. Here's the bar that I'm talking about in the Model 3. So you have the lights, which is good, but you have this ugly bar here. And on top, I guess the good thing would be this is 2 pieces of glass, so it's probably cheaper to replace one panel if it gets broken versus replacing one huge piece on the Model Y, but I haven't got a quote on that. Thankfully, I don't need one. Another reason I love the Model Y more is if you look around the seats, it is so much easier to vacuum my hair up and other debris and crumbs and dirt and dust and all kinds of stuff, grass, from around the edges of the seats. When it comes to vacuuming, this is what I'm talking about. You can easily get an attachment piece for your vacuum or the ones at the car wash or whatever, and you can vacuum all this. But it is not like that in the Model 3. This car definitely needs to be vacuumed. And here's what I'm talking about with the Model 3. I can't even stick a pin down here. I know it's disgusting, but this is real life, okay? I can't vacuum down there. I can't even get a pin in there, so I certainly can't get a vacuum cleaner attachment. So that's really annoying. Definitely easier to clean the Model Y. Another advantage to the Model Y is you could make this a 7-seater car. It is a significant cost increase to get 2 seats for the very, very back. I've never seen in person a 7-seater Model Y or Model X, but technically we could make this a 7-seater, which obviously you cannot do in the Model 3. So that is definitely an advantage to bigger families. I guess that's all I got for you so far. If I was single and I was not married and I did not have children and I did not have dogs and I was not a cyclist, then absolutely I would choose the Model 3 over the Model Y. I still love my Model 3 better for me. I love the low, sporty feel of the Model 3. I like how it hugs the ground. I like how I'm low to the ground. In the Model Y, I feel like I'm in a much bigger vehicle, and I feel like it's easier to park and whip around traffic in the Model 3. It's probably not that much of a difference, but just to me, it feels like the Model 3 is just so much easier to drive. It's more sporty. It makes me feel like I'm driving a really awesome sports car. But the Model Y is much taller, and you can feel when you're driving that it is higher off the ground. So you do... I don't want to say you feel this way, but you definitely feel higher when you're going around turns versus in the Model 3, you're much more stealthy and low profile. So I love the Model 3 for me, but I absolutely cannot deny that my husband and all 6 of my children and my dogs, they all prefer the Model Y hands down for all these reasons. So the Model Y is definitely a better car for being more versatile. They look the same to, any outsider, but really, truly, they're not. The Model Y definitely has more to offer when it comes to passengers and cargo. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Have a great week, and I will see y'all next time.